Okay, I was going to do this as John Howard or perhaps the Queen, which probably would have been a bit scary for you all. So, and plus I couldn't find their masks, thankfully. So, just went for the cheapest that I could find on a Sunday afternoon. Why? Personally, not really that comfortable with this technology yet. I'm really making comment about, I guess, my anonymity, security, and yeah, just that if I were doing this in a classroom, I'd have no idea whether it was secure or not. I'd really need technical help. So I guess that's something I'll have to nut through. In grade 6 we got 3 new computers, and for the whole school, and they were orange, with the black type, and that was my primary education. And also I remember my father bringing home a laptop, and it was basically like a sewing machine, and again, orange screen, and I think I had basic Space Invaders, which I still think is a classic game, but yeah, things much, much more different. And even in my undergrad, we used computers essentially as word processors, and when starting this course I had to buy a new computer because the one I used for my undergrad just wasn't adequate at all. Just while we're on the subject of costs of technology, I think it's great for the unis. They've really shifted the cost from the university to the student. I know we used to get handed out all of our material. Now we either have printers or it's all provided online. Personally, I can't read off the screen, so print everything out, and boy do I go through those expensive printer cartridges. So just perhaps a suggestion for next year, if you're having lengthy readings, perhaps consider a reader as an option, because for me it is a cheaper option as a student. Yeah, so anyway, this, yes, is challenging me. However, luckily a lot of the technology is very user-friendly, so you don't have to be overly tech-savvy, which is a good thing. With students, I don't think I'd ever pretend I knew more than them. They're going to be much more savvy, and hey, they can teach me, and I'm sure they'd love to be teaching their teacher, but still not sure that it's equitable. I know with my rounds that yeah, all the private school I was in, they all had magnetic whiteboards in their classroom. Grade 5s upwards all had laptops, and a couple of the public had none of that. Still only had few computers in their classrooms and had to share. So it's not like $500 worth of books that was far more equitable across schools. I think it is going to cause a huge divide. So yeah, and also just in terms of social capital, generally the better educated parents are, or the more complicated their jobs, the more likely they're going to have access and knowledge of new technologies. So I guess it comes back to that meritocracy is coming into play with this tech. But hey, it's here to stay, can't ignore it, and I think it's a great thing. But like anything, if taught badly, it's going to become as boring as batshit like any other teaching. So it's definitely not a panacea. I've been looking at all the cultural jamming. Haven't looked at the videos yet, just so I could do mine without being influenced by others, and then I'll have a look at them. But yeah, if this was done for every subject, it's very time consuming looking at all of them. It's a great way of thinking that you're doing what you should be doing, studying, and after a few, what is the value? But hey, I'm still doing what I'm meant to be doing. But yeah, I think there'd be the danger of me just completely switching off and not even looking at posts. But I'm getting down with the lingo like any new field. Digital natives, digital, immigrants, so forth. The technology, I think, will be great for different types of learners. As one of the readings said, an essay is quite linear, whereas this sort of learning definitely does cater to potentially ESL students, students who've got, different interests, different cultures. But kids are definitely entering into the global culture, which again, bringing up security, not really sure about. Yeah, so, you know, they definitely have to be educated to be critical. Also, much easier just to put something on the net than with a book, you know, to authenticate that knowledge is a lot easier. So again, you know, kids are going to have to become far more critical, which is not a bad thing necessarily. And obviously, the cross-curricular, you know, potential is huge. And, you know, it's definitely extending to some extent what literacy means. But look, I think you could have read that into a lot of, depends how you viewed it already, you know, literacy. I think it was quite broad already to begin with. But yeah, you know, my main sticking point is them being, you know, having new forms of identity in the virtual world. You know, I'm still very unsure about the safety issue, but yeah, you know, can't ignore it. It's definitely here. You know, fantastic to engage with. And as my 60-year-old mum, who just used the net for the first time, said it's not brain surgery. Just quickly, my friend from England showed me this book on Banksy. There it is. I'd never heard of him. Fantastic critical journer. Does stuff like puts in his own artworks that are twist on classics into, you know, well-known galleries. And apparently my friend was saying that his murals are actually now being chipped away and being kept because he's a significant artist, which is pretty sad. But it's like anything, once you hear about it, you hear about it all the time. Walking the dog down Ackland Street this morning, and what did I see in the readings bookshop window but this very same book? Anyway, me being a science nerd, the arts kids probably, look, a lot of you have heard about it, but those who haven't, he's a fantastic, really interesting guy. That's it for me now. Bye.